Okay, build mode. One button. Movement. It worked! What? I built that with one button. Look at that. Decent structure. That would be hard to shoot down. Oh my word.
Join the fight with no countdown.
Today's video, did you see that intro? We have got a game changer on our hands. Now this has been out a few years, but every single video that I've digged around on YouTube regarding the Armour X Pro, how to turn your controller into kind of an elite controller, nobody goes into the detail that you really need. I don't know if it's they quickly got their reviews out there, or they don't know, or they don't see this as a game changer. What I'm about to show you is going to change the world for you, potentially, and be the most comprehensive review of this thing on YouTube. It's immense. So what is it? Well, the Armour X Pro, it's a bit of a weird name, BigBig 1 as well, as in BigBig, one word, and then WN, so BigBig 1. Don't get it, weird name, whatever. But anyway, essentially what you get is this thing, right? Now, let's pull that out of there. Now what you get is your normal Xbox controller, okay? And this, to put it in the back, will make it an elite controller. Now I'm going to go through this in a minute and I'll get a close-up view of this and all the functions of it in a second. We'll put some overlays on, but let's just do a bit of an intro if you don't know what this is. So I do have an elite controller, okay, with paddles on the back, and that in itself was a game changer for me. There's a review on the channel going through that after a year's use for me. I know there's a few comments about stick drift and stuff. I've never had it, so this to me is amazing. However, I wanted to try some things out and kind of buy accessories as you go and improve your setup and try different things out. So I bought this, the Armour X Pro BigBig 1, whatever name it is. But nobody, from all the reviews I've seen, nobody goes in through the detail of this thing. Okay, so it comes in two bits. First of all, the price. It's going to cost you around 50-60 pounds. There's two versions. There's basically one with a gyro mode where so let's say you're playing Call of Duty or Fortnite, whatever, first person shooters, you move that and it acts as your right stick and kind of moves with you. It's garbage, no one's going to use it, whatever, so you don't really need it. But anyway, that's what it is. Then this is what it is, and then essentially it clicks in the back of your controller, okay? And I tell you what, as I said, I'll put this on the screen in a minute when we go through it and turn it on so you can see it in more detail in a minute, but it fits in the back of there so cleanly. They have obviously took so much time to design this thing. It feels like a part of the controller. It's incredible the way it fits in, and then that gives you multiple buttons on the back, essentially 4, but it also has loads of other things in the middle, and I'm going to go through them in a minute. But it comes in two parts. You have this dongle and you have that goes in the back of your controller. That goes into whatever you want to use, and you can use this thing across stuff like Switch and things like that. But for me, that goes into the Xbox, okay? And that's how that links up. The only downside I've found, and this might be a game breaker for you as opposed to game changer, but you can't, as far as I know, use your headset when you're using this. So for instance, if I want to use my headset and communicate, it won't work even when it's in the controller if you've got this in there, which is a bit weird. But anyway, apart from that, that's the only major flaw I can find with it. Now I got mine for £20 used off eBay, or £22 or something, bargain. Cleaned it up myself, you know, give it a little clean run through, and then we're off to the races. Now let's get into the overview, the buttons and how it works. Change screen. So it's got two parts, obviously the Armour X bit which goes in the back of the controller, but also the dongle which goes in your Xbox. By the way, while we're here looking at this video, check out that skin for the Xbox. Nobody watched that video. Probably didn't find it entertaining, but let me tell you, I got that for free donated to me. And if you want to know how to get one, basically any image you want as a skin for your Xbox or any console, PlayStation, Xbox X, Series S, whatever, check that video out. But anyway, also, if you haven't seen the video about how I turned my Xbox into a PC, kind of PC Lite thing, that's exactly why I have the video on the channel showing that. But this is why I have this big USB 3 extension socket in there with all these, just in case you were thinking, what's all that in your Xbox No Camp Dad? Well, now you know. It's basically an extension lead to give me more USB 3s and give me loads of options. But anyway, while we're here, oh no, don't let me forget the expansion pack. Can't plug that one as well. Memory expansion, that's on the channel as well. The amount of effort I put into this Xbox. Anyway, back on topic. That is the dongle just there, and it's got a flashing light and a little button on it, which is to, you know, pair it up when you need to do that. But it sits in there, and that's where it lives, out the way, and you'd never even know it was there. But this is one of those scenarios where I say that video, as much as I did just plug all them videos, one of these USB sockets to expand your Xbox USB 3 sockets is so beneficial, because I can put loads into it, and there are times when you have to put random things into it like this. Anyway, that's how it sets up. That one down there is the power button. Okay, you turn that on and it links with the dongle in your Xbox, and that dongle will have a sync light. If anybody doesn't know, first of all, syncing it will either do it automatically. If it doesn't, when you click the dongle into the Xbox, the light on it, because it also has an LED light, same as one of these, will flash really slowly. There's a little button on it. Hold the button for 1 or 2 seconds and it will flash rapidly. Then all you do is see these 2 buttons here, hold them in together, and you'll see this flash rapidly and it syncs. Really easy, but it's these 2 if anybody has one of these. Okay, so that's that one. Now, what you have in here is your profile buttons. You have turbo if you want to. So that even lets you do like 5, 10, I think 20 clicks per second. So you can even choose the rate of your turbo. I mean, this thing is absolutely insane. And all these reviews, wait for the end, because you won't believe how I did that Fortnite building with one press of a button. Yes, that's legit. No clickbait. But anyway, we don't do clickbait on No Camp Dad. I'm too old for that crap.
God bless you content addicted clickbaiters.
And you can program these 4 buttons, and there is a way to do it manually, but I'm going to skip that. I'm going to skip that today, and I'm going to say the easiest way to do it is via the app. And if you type in BigBig 1 WON, so BIG space, so that's one word, 1 WON, you will find the app for this thing, and you download that app, and the app is where it gets crazy. So let's go into the app, and I'm going to go straight to that bit.
So where that money at?
Right, so we're in. Now this is the part of the app which is just insane, that no other review I've seen has done this bit, and this is the bit you need. So if you link it back to the Fortnite at the start, that whole building was built pressing one button. And that's due to the commands that I programmed it for. Now, here's what we've got. More. Button test. You can see if it's working. So if I use the controller, and you can hear me clicking away and press anything, it lets you know it's working, right? So we're all good. So that's just your button test. Instructions, if you need those. It has guidance in the app for how you're gonna do everything you need. Plan it in different languages and stuff. So we got Italian there, and you will find whatever you need to at points. Information, we're not going to look at that one. Now, you can do profiles on it, configurations, and if we go into configuration first, this is first of all the amounts of things you can do on this. Now, I'm coming from an Xbox perspective, of course, you know, I'm doing this anyway. You can have options to do the sensitivity around your sticks, dead zone, you can do things like that, you can do anyway, right? But the options are there en masse should you need to. Then we got sticks, we got triggers, hair trigger key maps. Now that's where the buttons on the back are basically M1 to 4. So M1, M2, M3, M4, and you can change these to whatever you like. So if I want to change M1 to an A, then that M1 button on the back, find which one's comfortable for you. then you will be able to save it. You know, turbo or not, you can turn the turbo option on or off. So in other words, hold it and then it will be a turbo button or not. Again, so you could have normal jump as A. Then if you wanted a turbo at points, M1 on the back, you could be A, click turbo with it, and then that would work for M1. You'd have a turbo function on it. So even if you just need turbo, sometimes, not all the time, it even gives you the option to do that. And then you can save motion sensitivity and stuff there, right? So we've got all that. Now, here's where the money comes in. This is the bit you all tuned in for. You know you did. But anyway, you can do different configurations, different files, different settings and all that, and click which one you want to use once you've got them. But look at this, macros. Now this is the bit that you all want to see, and here's how you do it. So how did I plan that ridiculous jump build at the start, pressing one button? Now I still had to move the sticks myself, and that will take a bit of practice, but imagine all what you can do on this, your own preferences, what you can do, the options you could have. Let's have a look. So I got macros, right? And I got M1 button on the back. Long press versus tap to cycle. So we're just going to go with tap because it's all we need. That is milliseconds. So the 100 milliseconds, that's going to be key in a minute. And if you just practice on something and get the settings right, oh my word, this is a game changer. As I said, we'll get into the ethics of this later on, by the way, right? So you can skip the ethics bit if you want for now. I'm just going with the tutorial bits. There is an ethics bit around it. However, what we got? We've got, let's go with, so we got M1, right? I'm going to go with M1. Now, for that one, for instance, for me, build a wall in Fortnite is R trigger. So I press OK. Plus R trigger. I want 4 walls. So I'm going to go with R trigger, okay, R trigger. Now that's going to build me just 4 walls, simple as that. And then the duration, obviously how long you're pressing the button for, these don't matter too much, but if you want to get technical and play with them, you can. But the intervals in between really will count, because some games, so I'll go with 150 milliseconds, right, and let's see what that looks like. And you can do up to 16, I believe it is, planned in movement. So this is going to be in a row. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 down the left hand side. Right trigger, right trigger, right trigger. Yeah. 200 milliseconds, intervals between pressing the buttons. Again, if you wanted, you know, rapid fire, but that humanly, that's going to be hard to keep up with just for human reaction times. You delay these milliseconds a bit. Let's go with 300 milliseconds, modify all, or you can do one in between each. And this is where you get really technical, because for me, for instance, I'm still moving the sticks for the jump. So when I built a ramp in Fortnite and did that little hop onto the ramp and then did another little jump to build the floor before the next walls, I need a bit of time to move my, you know, character into place to build those components. So I actually put them to like 400 milliseconds between those steps, but the rest was around 200. So now we've got that built, okay? And what we tend to do is, if this allows me to do it, but it won't, so let's leave that. All right, so we've jumped on this map on our own on private on Fortnite, and we're going to try that one quite simply that we just built, all right? So we've got build mode, M1, press once. Job done. We're encased. Simple as that. That was one button, and that's what you can see on the map. On the app. So I've saved it here as FN, just a Fortnite move with M1, right? So it's all in there, and I put the duration 250 milliseconds between each press of a button. You can play with that. 300, as you see on the right hand side. Duration is how long the button will be pressed, tapped or pressed long form. But this interval bit is the gap between each button press if you were pressing it manually. So for instance, R trigger, 300 milliseconds, R trigger, 300 milliseconds. And then what it does with ease, if we break out of there, if we do that one more time for you, build mode, okay, M1. Easy. You got to spin like you're building still. Okay, you got to spin like you're building still, but that's what it does. And if you imagine, so on that other one you saw at the start, I then programmed A for a jump, A, ramp, L trigger, yeah, moved up, jump, RB, build that, and 4 more walls. Okay, so I'm already starting to crank 90s, baby, with 2 buttons. Are you kidding me? What? Look at this. I should play this game more. I never build, by the way. I don't bother playing build mode anyway, but whatever. So look at that already. Now that is insane. Let's jump off there, right? Let's have a look. So although I built that manually, I could probably build 3 stacks of that with this 16 steps, or how many you can do. Imagine the things you can do here. I could do the base of it with, say, that M1 button, 16 steps. Then when that tower's built, press another M2 because you programmed it slightly differently immediately, and it would build something else ridiculously fast. The possibilities for this are endless. When you think about all the games you play and the macros you can program into this, play with the settings, get knee deep in the weeds on it, play with the milliseconds, practice a little bit on your favorite games. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous how far we can go. Now, the ethics bit of it, right? I ain't saying anything on that. The ethics bit, is it cheating? Is it assistance? Is it naughty? Is it acceptable? I'm not here to decide that argument, okay? I'm just here to tell you that this is a damn good tool and that it works. And that is what I've just shown you. And no other review on YouTube I've found goes into the macros in detail. And I don't know why. So if you imagine special moves on games, combos, combos on certain, I don't know, even football games when FIFA needs ridiculous skills or whatever, if you play that or don't play that, obviously it's not going to go and work on every single game, but I'm sure there'll be a sequence, of things you press on some games where it would come in handy. I don't know, it might not, Would I use this in a challenge or a tournament? No, I wouldn't. That's just me personally. You might, I wouldn't. Any challenge I do, any kind of videos like that, mind you, them challenges are predominantly retro games anyway, where they were very simple one press, so you wouldn't use them anyway. But I'm just saying, there are the options. Now, you have to know how to do it in the first place, so they're building that ethics argument again, because, if you're going to program a combo into it, you'd have to know how to do the combo first anyway to program it in. But if you program in a step-by-step basis, using this macros icon, right, the possibilities are absolutely insane. And I can save, say, 1 set of macros for each button on the back, M1, M2, M3, M4. So if you imagine, if I set it right, I could have M1 as that initial base, that you saw in there. Let's just stick to Fortnite for a minute. Then I could have M2 as an extension, and then do the same thing repetitive, M2, M2, M2. And you can imagine it just shooting up this ridiculous tower. If you practiced enough and got to grips with it, it's an absolute insane game changer of a thing. It really is.
And that's not an insult, that is just a fact of life. Yeah!
The options are endless. It doesn't have to be 16 moves. It can be 3, it can be 4, it can be anything between 1 and 16. This thing is absolutely insane, right? For the price you get, and why nobody's ever done a video on these macros before, I don't know. But though it doesn't matter, you've got one now. You must download that app if you get this. It's free. You can do it manually by holding things. The instructions will show you hold certain buttons, then do your key edits and then add it in. It's just too long. Do it as you would do in the app. Play around with it. And I'm absolutely going to give this a thumbs up for a purchase, even for the basics. Let's not forget the basics and forget the macros for a minute. If you want back buttons, I have one of these, and there's a review on the channel. But let me tell you, this
Tactical nuke incoming!
Tell you, this thing's a joke. The cost of this thing is nearly as much as the console. That's disgraceful. Absolutely obscene amount of money. But hey, it's my choice in life. If I want to waste it, I can waste it. Although I don't see it as wastage, but I'm just saying, some people...
Fire all the drones now!
Anyway, even if you wanted it just for the buttons on the back, okay, just these as one button, then that wouldn't be... No, there's no ethical question in that. That's just paddles. You can use it as that. I can change the M1 to just jump if I wanted to. Things like that. Again, the possibilities are vast with this thing. Turbo option, you might like that, but that's the kind of review of this big one, and why I think it's an outstanding piece of kit, and it would definitely get a thumbs up. Check on eBay where I got them from, see if you can get them dead cheap. because that's where I got mine from. Who cares if it's used? You know what I mean? Clean it up with a disinfectant wipe, job done. Hey, I'm not rich. I ain't got the money. You know what I'm saying? I don't make any money off YouTube. That's it for this video. Take it easy. Bye-bye.